Welcome to the Indigo Minute podcast. I am your host, Maxim Presence, and today I'm speaking with my friend James David Gore. He's a very talented actor and writer, and you can check out his work on YouTube under the channel Capture That Films. So without further ado, we're going to talk about some G shit and dive deep into the collective unconscious. Alright, bro, so what's up? Jimmy Gore.
Oh yeah, dude. My man.
How are you?
I'm good, dude. I'm good.
What's up with you this week? What are you
This week?
thinking about? What are you manifesting? What are you letting go of?
Oh, dude. A lot of things, man. I'm trying to... I feel
One
like...
thing at a time.
Yeah, one thing at a time, man. So I'm trying to, right now, I feel like, well, this past kind of week, in terms of like spiritually, religiously, within my life, I feel like there's been like quite a substantial shift of like a realization almost that like, you know, because I wasn't brought up religiously like at all. Like my grandparents, they're like in their 80s and they're not religious like at all, which is crazy because like here, a lot of older generation people that are like white or like Christian, their grandparents or their parents are super like Catholic or Christian.
Right.
Like, well, in America.
Yeah.
But I feel like at home, like in England, it's been around for so long that everyone's like over it. You know what I mean? Like everyone's like, oh, religion, because it's so old now in England.
But they do have a faith in a greater power?
I don't know, man. I think a lot of it, like, of course, like a big majority of people do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like atheism is like really kind of really cutting through a lot of stuff, like especially people in like my age range and my generation. And like a lot of my friends, like my really close friends, not out here but back at home.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they categorically like do not believe in anything that isn't just in plain sight. Not in an ignorance kind of way. They're intelligent people.
Yeah.
You know, and they believe in like all kinds of like, you know, all the same things that we believe in about like race and you know, like human beings, like you
equality.
Know, exactly, like everything that will make the planet a better place. And they believe in art and you know the power of that. But if you said to them like, do you believe in God?
Yeah.
They would probably be like, no, it's a ridiculous like notion.
Right.
You know, which again, there's nothing wrong with it. Like people's opinions are their opinions.
And I guess it really just depends on what God is defined as.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what like...
It has a lot of baggage, that word.
Yeah.
I don't even like to use that word.
Exactly, dude.
I've been opting out for like the one...
Yeah.
Rather than God, you know?
Yeah,
the one,
yeah.
Or the one energy, the one thing, the one substance.
Exactly. And
existence.
Yeah, dude, like,
you know?
and that's the thing is like...
The thing that everything's made of.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
one energy.
I think energy is like a perfect way to...
Energy, yeah.
Yeah, or
pure
like,
energy.
Or for me, I found like the thing that I've transitioned to, kind of like I was saying, which has like been weird for me, is that when I thought about God and like when people have presented me with like their religious views and all that kind of thing, I love listening to like what people think. You know, I find it extremely interesting. So when someone says to me like, I believe in God, what I used to do is exactly what you just said, is this baggage, and I'd be like, dude on a cloud.
Yeah.
Heaven, like,
dude on a cloud.
Yeah, you know, exactly, man. And you're like, what are it? Like some guy went pop in 7 days and made like this incredible ecosystem, this ridiculous solar system.
Right.
You know, when you look at like the intricacies of a plant itself, to just a tree by itself, how did this guy create that out of nothing?
Right.
And that's the problem, man. Is like, that's how I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like I've been looking and reading a lot, and I've stumbled upon much more of a, like for me personally, that life is God.
Life is God,
You know what I mean? Like
the body of God
exactly,
is life.
Like these living, breathing things that are all around us, you know, like insects, you know, plants, animals, anything, dude, like human beings, like we are all, it's this incredible...
miraculous experience moment of teeming life.
Yeah, dude, it's like
insanity, the air. Yeah. Imagine if you had like 2 or 3 more senses. What if you're not
dude.
perceiving like life within life?
Well, dude,
Like,
that's
what if,
that's
on
like a
multi dimensions, like, you know, there's so
like
much.
you can see
Yeah,
the
like
atoms of like oxygen and carbon dioxide.
Yeah, like maybe there's worlds within
dude,
tiny little spaces. You
dude,
know?
I think that like genuinely that's like a totally believable thing. Is like so much of our life, dude, when we like think about it, is this 5 linear senses.
Yeah.
That's all that we're told that we can perceive life through. If you know what I mean, like if I can't smell it, if I can't touch it, if I can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Right.
But like, there's no way that is possible. Dude. Like, just think about like us now, like in this room, like in this exact, like in this present
Well, think
moment.
about the X-Men.
Yeah,
they developed new senses.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
You know, some of the X-Men could do things that they opened up their sensing capabilities into different stratas. They could sense the rocks or the metal.
And they could become something like tap into that.
They
one
could tap
with
it.
You know?
So there's so many more senses, and we can open up those senses. And I'm glad you're saying this whole thing about the miraculousness of now. Like, we take for granted how miraculous, like what we say is normal. It's not normal.
Just like the way that we can communicate. Like, I can come from however many thousand miles away, 12-hour flight away. I can come somewhere, and then I can talk to people like this about really insane stuff that no other animal or anything on Earth can do. That, dude, in that way. You know what I mean? They like. You couldn't take an elephant and a shark, tiger, and then they'll find common ground on like a political, religious.
But I mean, even
like,
I mean, even on a weirder level of like the identification with your identity as a 5-fingered creature. You know what I mean? And like the you know, you're walking from room to room. You're like picking up things. You're making sounds.
You're creating specific stuff.
And there's also a part of you that's perceiving that part of you.
Exactly, dude. And that's the thing is like that for me, because again, dude, like you can only speak. Another thing that I've realized like hugely, which is like really trips me out when I think about it, is that I can only ever really, because I love talking to people, dude. Like I love talking to people about anything, like, you know, anything that anyone's feeling. But something I realised like very recently, within the last year or two, in fact, like really kind of since moving out here, is that you can honestly only speak for yourself about anything. So like, for example, dude, it's like if you talk about like, dude, like look at the moment in like politics, like sexual harassment is like on the agenda like big time, for example, right? I would never ever sit in a room and talk on the behalf of women about that subject. Do you get what I mean? Not only because it's not my place, but it's like, if you cannot possibly conceive what you are not, because dude, everything I've ever experienced is from like this thing here in my brain, you know what I mean? Like I can never say that I've experienced what you've experienced in your life. It's just not possible. Like, maybe at this time, I mean, I feel like if you can, I mean, dude, I'm sure that like, there is definitely a way.
Anything's possible.
Exactly, man.
Is that what you're looking to Is that what you're?
Oh, dude, I think that, dude, I have like a hard enough time, like being a human being solo, like to take on other people. Right now, dude, I would like that would be like, you know, in my like later years, that would be something that I would find very interesting. But at the moment, I just think it's very important to find a common ground. And like you just said, like you were just saying, be amazed by everything, dude. Like, be amazed that we're even having these discussions. That, like, because, dude, like, we are so... When you look at a lot of history of time, dude, like, when you look, you know, depending on what you believe in. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing too that I was going to ask you is what are your thoughts on like creationism, and what's your thoughts on like, you know, did we derive from apes? Like, how old are we? Like, where do you stand on like that kind of front, you know,
as
like,
far as evolution,
in terms of like how we got to where we are now, you know what I mean? Because
how we got to where we are now.
Yeah, like if you're a Christian, then you believe in, you know, you believe in like the story of the Bible and that we were created by God and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then on the other side of that, obviously you have like atheism, which is die hard, like Richard Dawkins, like science. We derive from primordial ooze, so and so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where do you stand on it?
Where do I stand?
Yeah.
Well, from some of my discoveries of inner searching, diving deeper into that question of who am I, I've discovered that this experience, this moment, this story right now, me talking to you, this room, this space, right, is actually a matrix of light. It's sort of like a geometric matrix of light. It's like sort of like a
that's very cool.
Like a world within my consciousness, and this world has a storyline. It has a past and a future in this now moment that's defined as like this is our past history. It's an evolutionary history of sort of life coming from nothing and evolving through like vibration, through excitement, through the organization of non-physical consciousness, organizing matter and crystallizing it into form. So my perspective is that we are a much greater being, and that our experience is sustained by us at a higher level. Right. So it's sort of like existence, right? Everything that exists is already here and now, meaning the matrix of every possible every possible version of you on a quantum level, like the you that came here a minute too late or too early, different timelines, all of these all of these like yous exist right now. Every moment that can possibly exist, that ever what did exist, will exist. Basically, the matrix of space and time, the past and the future are sort of like a map, and they all exist already right now. And what I've come to realize is that our identification with a limited identity that's in a linear progression is what's keeping us in this like step-by-step evolutionary leap. But what's possible in humanity, in my opinion, of what we're moving into as a human, is we can leap into an identity that's witnessing space and time like a map. So it's sort of like, instead of being in the game, you sort of start to see yourself as the game. And
you can see out, you can like view your game.
View your game, and then you realize that who you really identified with, your character like Jimmy or Maxim or Matt, whatever, is a image, is like a projection.
It's an avatar.
It's an avatar. It's like in a video game, you have your representational self in the game, but the game is in your consciousness too. So if you really think about it deeply, you're perceiving this moment, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You're seeing yourself and you're seeing me.
Yeah.
And that means that you're validating this experience being here. Without you saying that you're seeing this, it might as well not even be here.
Right.
You're validating your self-image and my self-image in your consciousness right now. And that consciousness is holding your idea of yourself, your idea of me, this idea of this table, the idea of all these things, right? And so what I'm saying is, at a quantum level, this whole experience is like basically like held by your attention, by your awareness. Like it's like a little baby within your awareness. And what I'm saying is that who we really are at our core level is this cosmic consciousness that contains worlds within it, and is almost like creating a really exciting game experience, and then projecting a symbolic representation of its great power in that game, and then basically like experiencing itself with a specific storyline. You know how like if you enter a video game in like Xbox or PS4 or something, there's like a storyline, like the aliens are taking over, and you gotta like defend, you're on the red team, like you just jump right into the storyline, right? Doesn't it feel like you just jumped into a storyline here? in the sense
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
it
just
totally
like,
does.
this
Dude.
is 2017. We got this shit happening.
Yeah,
this shit.
yeah.
We gotta defend.
Yeah.
Viva la revolution.
Yeah,
you know?
and even on like a smaller level, dude. Like even on like a big
Even
thing,
like,
dude, like going into a supermarket, dude,
Yeah.
and trying to buy something.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
never thought
exactly.
About that?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
going
Yeah.
into a supermarket and
Yeah.
trying to buy cereal.
Yeah, you're in like
and
a
you're like,
bubble.
whoa,
Yeah.
and there's like 500 different cereals,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't even know, like, I don't know what I want, dude. And it's
Right.
like, the great thing about the world is, I mean, for us anyway, like where we live and everything, is there is so much great stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that
there's
like,
so
we've
many
invented for ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy you say that because it's like a big part of my like.
It's like Minecraft kind of.
It
you're
is,
like building
yeah.
up little things and like playing, you know.
Yeah, and it's like the crazy thing that I find is like a terrifying thing about life, because the thing is that it's like it's something that I'm really not afraid of. Genuinely, like is death. I'm not. I in fact, to me, I think that it's like a very warm, comforting thing when I think about it. I used to be terrified of it. Like, a few years ago, I'd lie in bed and I'd like close my eyes and be like, damn, is this it, dude? And then I realised, even if this is it, how incredibly peaceful, dude. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like when I think about that, the only thing that really terrifies me about like passing, dude, is kind of what you're saying in a sense of like, I am just scared that I can't master as much of myself and what my ego wants me to master. Do you get what I mean? Like skill wise. Like for example, dude, like I would love to be great at. I'd love to be able to make a sword. There's an example. You know what I mean? I'd love to be able to like hand carve crazy good bowls and
What if
shit,
what if I told you that there's a you out there in the space-time continuum that's already doing that right now?
Or
you are
may have
you.
already done it.
That's done it.
Yeah,
You've
like
already accomplished it.
yeah, and that's what's like crazy is like that's very it's not very assuring. You know what I mean? Like when I think, because I never think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I never think like, because we just said, like we're this avatar, we're like this thing, and I can't see outside of these 5 senses because I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
So to actually think about it like, damn dude, like think about like where we came, even past to now, let alone future.
Yeah.
Think about where we came from. Like when this is the thing that like, and I've talked about this to like my friends a lot, like Carly and that lot. It's something that really trips me out is like when you think about your DNA, so what's inside you, and you think about like where you came from, especially if like your civilization is old or not, and depending on what you believe in. Let's say we take the route of like you do come from primordial ooze, dude. You know, you do come from like apes and so on and so forth,
or extraterrestrial DNA, like spliced with,
or like some crazy life creation that
a cosmic,
an
cocktail.
entity, dude. Yeah, exactly, man. Like an amalgamation of
different DNA
religious, like almost like religious, esoteric, like, which is definitely believable, dude. Like, look where we are now. Where like if we were, you know. If we do come from like monkeys, then we're sitting here wearing like clothes and shit, and like
what's your we're definitely, in my opinion, not from monkeys. I'd say we're, from my understanding and channeled information I've heard, the current Homo sapien model vehicle or whatever is a design that is where, you know, Sasquatch, Bigfoot.
Yep.
So it's like we've evolved from that. That's what
so
we would have
that's
naturally
like
been.
A separate species.
We would have naturally been Bigfoot if, from my understanding, if we had not had our DNA altered by extraterrestrial advanced civilizations.
Sure. And do you think
I think we're genetically modified.
Do you think that
by ETs?
Like, do you think that these ETs, like when you say that, do you mean that like they came down in a physical form, or do you think, or do you think they came down in like a, you know what I mean? Like, what I mean is, do you mean like literal like aliens, or do you mean literally? Or do you mean like, you know, how do you?
You know how like the scientists today are discovering that they can take DNA from maybe a crocodile or a mouse and take the elements of that DNA that's like the healing, the longevity of a crocodile, or
And
whatever.
and
then they can sort of connect that into the genes of certain other animals and see that strength is in that. So it's sort of like that, but like advanced.
I see what
for
you're
like
saying.
humanoid, not
So
like
we're
animals.
so yeah,
I
like,
would
so
say
we're like a cocktail.
I would say we're a cosmic cocktail
Yeah.
that is, you know, I don't really know exactly the history of what the purpose of that was or whatever, but I'm saying it's for the greatest good, you know, because we're here and we gotta love ourselves.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, I think that it's like very interesting because I'm still at a point in my life where I'm not. It's like I haven't decided yet. Do you get what I mean?
About ETs?
Well,
Or
about like where we come from. Because I mean, it's one of like where we come from as a species of being.
That's
there's so many beautiful theories, dude. And it's kind of like I find theories like beautiful in a sense of I don't necessarily agree with them, but I think they're fascinating. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like for example, dude, like for a long time I really believed that we just came from some primordial ooze, came from the sea basically, and then kept going and going and going. And the reason why I sort of believe that is only on the basis of what a story that is. You know what I mean?
We started from the bottom.
Yeah, dude, some like underdog shit, really cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, like pulling a Drake or whatever. You know what I mean?
But we had some. I'd say maybe it's a combination of that and additional help. Like maybe if you get to a certain point, you get a little bit of help.
I mean, look at us. I mean, it's like the thing is for me, and the really big thing for me is like.
But again, that's talking.
You know, there's no way we haven't been given the grace of something else, like whether it is like alien involvement, extraterrestrial involvement, whether it is like even if it is just something, dude, that hit Earth.
The greatest blessings that we've ever received was from the One.
Yeah, exactly.
The One.
Yeah,
the alien, the ETs, all these avatars and the models, all the stuff that we're talking about are just details and blessings that we receive from the One. And the One is all that is. You know, it's the one energy everything's made of. So I always like to remind myself of that because we get caught up in giving value to something outside of ourselves, like an ET or this or that or the other.
Right.
But the true energy, the true love, wisdom, and power always comes from the formless emptiness of the One. And that formless emptiness is what everything is made of.
Yeah.
And so, like, we must pay homage to that and keep that in the forefront of our mind when we say we did evolution or the ETs or whatever, because all of that story still comes from the One, and all of those things get their power from that. So I just like to acknowledge that if we're talking about where we came from, we came from formless void, formless emptiness. You know the Big Bang shit? There was nothing, and then there was something. Have you ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
With the whole ego thing.
You know that guy that was the god and he was basically created his own body?
Yeah, he created like his own ecosystem and like...
Right, so imagine there's nothing, right? And then from that nothing, there's an intention and a visual in the emptiness of a two-armed, two-legged, one-head humanoid body. And you call that Adam, and then you do another, that's Eve. You imagine it, and then you sort of, out of the one energy, you shape it. And, so in my opinion, everything came from nothing. We came from nothing. And whether that's evolution, if you go all the way back to evolution, that pile of ooze had to come from something. And that something was nothing.
Yeah, dude, because it was the very beginning.
If you talk about the ETs, those motherfuckers came from nothing too. So
yeah, dude. Yeah, it's a very...
Bless up.
Do you think that like so you said that
God is
you said that we need to
nothing.
you were saying we need to pay homage to that and have that in the forefront of our mind.
Oh,
what
number one thing I will stress to anybody I ever talk to, that is the golden key.
But what do you think?
I
totally agree with you.
You must praise the One.
I think that that's a definite thing. what happens to you if you either don't do that because you're not aware of it? You get what I'm saying? Because people are asleep in that way, right? A lot of people are asleep.
Yes.
What happens?
That doesn't excuse them from the devastation that they create from not doing that.
That's what is like.
Which is what is the goal of the masters on the planet, to spread those jewels so that everybody understands who they really are.
Yeah. Otherwise, when you say that, the people that do know it, for example, like the people that are awake, let's say, is it selfish of them? Do you think it's like a secret? Because, dude, the way that I see life, this may be like pessimistic or something, is that like 97% of people on this planet are like asleep. Okay. Is that like really? And I do not mean that in like a really like derogatory sense. But what I mean is how many people actually sit down or sit there and because dude, it's like you said, man, like the one you can you said we come from like nothing, and like the one you can kind of use that in the same metaphor as like the one like taps you on the shoulder one day and says to you, why don't you ask yourselves these questions? Do you know what I mean? Because I went through so much in my life.
Yeah, the one will literally do that.
Exactly. And I'm sitting there, so I make it to 18 years old.
Yeah.
Don't give a shit about religion. Don't give a shit about. I don't care. Like I don't know anything about it. I don't care about it because I'm too busy like doing whatever.
Yeah.
Just working a job and drinking beers and hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
Then one day it's like someone gets like a vial and like drops like a drop of different water in my brain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did we come from? What is my purpose? What am I doing? Like, and it opens up like this crazy door, dude.
Yeah.
And that kind of is like the same thing, dude. It's the one. There was nothing. It was empty. It was asleep, and then someone went bang.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like so many people go through their lives, and even like I know like my father for sure went through his life.
Yeah.
And that probably didn't even get near him.
Well, it doesn't matter because it's never too late. Because
of course,
there's always now, and you know, I always like to remember we're infinite eternal beings and our souls are immortal. And so like there's opportunity after opportunity to go back and pay homage to the one.
Right.
The one is all forgiving. You know, it's sort of like you can go unto the house of the Father at any time.
Yeah.
You know, and by that is just, I mean, the one is basically what's giving you life.
Yeah.
You're using the one energy to talk, to think, to breathe, to eat, to express yourself, to define yourself, to say you're this or you're that. So when we one day realize that, everything can turn around because we're one with that. And if you just even ponder at the miraculousness of that, it is literally the key that unlocks you from limitation, poverty, and death consciousness.
Yeah.
Recognizing you are connected to limitless, infinite wisdom, love, and power means that you have access through your imagination to that. And the more you decide to receive of it from the one, the more you bless your life and all those around you.
Yeah, you like become... Because that's the thing, man, is like in my life, because I mean, I've been doing a ton of reading, and in my life, something that I found very interesting is that when I say like the word king, right, that has become like a very dirty word. Do you know what I mean by that? So like if you say king,
you're like, thinking power over others.
Exactly, dude. You're thinking like tyranny. You're thinking rules. You're thinking like
that's
riches.
Dark side. That's separate from the one.
Exactly, dude. But like the thing is with me is that I think a king is like noble. I think it's wisdom. I think it's like ever loving. Is a lover of people.
Balance.
Exactly. Is a protector of what he thinks is like right and is morally correct, right?
Just.
And the thing is, man, is like I feel like in life and I've been reading a lot about this. Like I was talking to you the other day about like male archetypes. I want to become a king. In that sense, and I don't mean a king in a sense of like better than others.
Yeah.
But I believe a king is like on a level that's like pure good. His intentions and his thoughts on other people and everything is always truthful.
But there's more than
good,
that.
You know?
It's more than that. The king is also powerful. The
Yeah,
king
yeah.
is also rich.
Yeah,
The king is also very abundant.
And this is all...
The king is also very loving and kind.
That's what I mean, man.
And
exactly.
the king is also extremely intelligent and wise.
So, a good human being. Like, you know, that when I think about what I define as a good human being, like, it is that. And it's like, you should always have something to chase in life.
What's the difference between you that's the king and you that's not the king?
So me that's now? And
yeah.
Like right
if you
now,
were to look at
right now, dude,
if you had a mirror
now?
right now and I'm showing you a mirror,
right.
and you're looking at that mirror and you're like, and you had the king you looking back at you, what would the difference between that you and the you are now be?
I would see a magician.
A magician, okay.
Yeah. And you want to know why?
Tell me.
Because magicians are not 100% truthful people. They lie for a living, right? And that's not to say that I'm like a horrendous liar and all this kind of thing, but I definitely lie to myself.
You're definitely lying to yourself.
To make myself feel better about maybe doing bad things or like...
Well, no, I think you're lying to yourself saying that you're small, but really you're big as fuck.
Yeah, physically maybe.
No, I think you're pretending to be a beggar, but you're a king.
Right.
You're lying to yourself.
But I feel like
your innate nature, your actual source, the core of who you are, is a king.
Yeah, I know.
So everything else you tell yourself that's not that is a lie.
And I believe it.
You believe the lie.
No. I believe that at the core,
that
there absolutely is definitively, right?
Yeah.
But I believe I have to go throughout stages and learn things in my life to truly access like the greatness of that king. And I feel like that. I feel like that takes time in life because, dude, for example, it's like I feel like a really big part of it is being a father. I think that's a huge part of, like, I mean, I don't know where you stand on like parent kind of stuff, but I read a lot of like mythical stuff about fathers and sons because I think that relationship is extremely, extremely interesting, and the relationship with our mothers. We live as a woman for the first 9 months of our lives. Isn't that just fucking insane, dude? Like when you think about it, we live as a woman for like the first 9 months of our actual life. So, I've been reading stuff that like the key to a man's freedom is actually a literal key that lives underneath his mother's pillow that you need to steal from your mother when she's asleep because you don't want her to catch you stealing because she'll be so upset. And that's why, dude, I feel like a really big part of like growing up is actually moving away from your mother. Like I love my mum more than anything in the world, dude. But if I stayed at home, you can't love her as much as she deserves to be loved unless you steal that key of freedom that she has over you. And it's purely maternal, it's protective, it's a loving key, it's a loving lock. And like... It's
an energetic cord that needs to be cut.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the shackles
otherwise,
that
man,
be unshackled.
Yeah. Well, and that's such a big thing, dude. That's such a crazy thing to me is there is such a polar difference between mother and father. The father is a very natural, dude, I love movies. Like The Tree of Life is a movie that really explains this very well. Is the father is he represents nature. It's incredible, it's loving, it's giving, but it can also be very harsh and it can also be very unforgiving. Whereas a mother is like pure grace. You know what I mean? Like a mother, obviously I'm talking about very good parents here. My mum would kill someone for me. You know what I mean? Like, and she would not say a word. Like the depths of it is pure love. It's the craziest form of love that you'll ever experience until you have a child of your own, I believe.
Well, how much love do you think the one has for you?
How much? I feel like, dude, when you say that, the thing that is so crazy is like the one is, I consider, like, I attach the one with, like, my mother so I feel like she almost is the one. You get what I mean?
Symbolically.
Symbolically, yeah. She of course, again, it is in all of us, but it's like crazy, man. Like the way that I feel about her in that way is like very, and I don't really say this to her, dude. I'm a man. Like we're not meant to talk about shit, but like. Yeah, man, I feel like there's something like angelic about mothers. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, there's something like it's godlike, and it is that, man. It's their one is so in tune with you, so invested in your one and your consciousness and your unconsciousness that I can like feel it, dude. Like I feel.
And that's
it very,
actually
like,
it's you're basically talking about the love that's given to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
exactly.
poured out to you consistently.
And I didn't even ask for it.
I
didn't do anything for it.
You didn't do anything
so it's
for
like,
it. It's just like
it's
giving you this love. Like, I love you, I love
like
you.
drinking from a never-ending pool, dude. Like, just,
Okay, so that feeling of love, right? Isn't that the most important feeling?
Let me tell you this. If every person I meet that I like in my life, you know what I mean, like I enjoy being with, and even not if it matters, if every person I ever met in my life, you could radiate that to. That would be you like that's what I mean, dude, is like to be able to do that, that's some king shit, dude. You know what I mean?
You are the king. You've got
that's some like
the exact metaphor you used of the love that your mother pours out to you is the exact image I use for the one pouring out the love to me, to all of life.
Right, yes.
The one
is
like blessing life with all this energy. Do what you will with this love. Do what you will with this infinite energy.
Yeah.
Here you go. I love you. You don't have to do anything. I just love you. And we're connected to that. And so imagine being able to receive more of that infinite love, wisdom, and power.
Dude. Why wouldn't you want to?
Why wouldn't you want to? Because you're
scared of it?
Well, I would say that you're just turned your attention away from that love. Right. It's like, not even acknowledging where that love's coming from. That's why I say pay homage to the one. Like, I love you for giving me this love. Thank you. And you get filled by it, and then it overflows and you can direct it. It's sort of like when you imagine the love that your mother is pouring out to you, right? And you really can feel it. I can feel it right now. It's sort of like this comforting, loving, present, embracing, accepting, pure,
it's like totally
unconditional
anxiety-free. Like it's like
effortless. Like you're floating in through a cosmic sea. This love is like enveloping, embracing, and that love that you're receiving from her, right? That you're feeling. It fills you, right? And when you're filled with it, you can direct it.
And you can use it as a tool.
Yeah, you can, and think about this. Everything that you give your love to blooms.
You're completely right, yeah.
Imagine your mother, she's giving you all this love, and you're just like blooming like a flower. Or like imagine something you really love, to maybe a plant you want to grow or anything you want to accomplish or do that's even on a small scale, you giving it love, or even a person.
Dude, it's even like Bo.
What?
It's like Bo, like our dog.
Yeah.
Like all that guy is fed all day, dude, is like complete love at like a level that is even more special because you can't say it to him like we can people.
Yeah, you're just like radiating.
You're literally, dude. Yeah. You're literally getting energy.
Yeah.
Like it's a thing.
Yeah.
Like it's coins.
Yeah.
And you're giving it to him. You're giving it to him. And he's just taking it.
Yeah.
And he gives it back.
And he gives it right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like but you can't see that.
No,
you know
but you feel it.
But you can feel it to the point where you can see it.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean.
You can see the joy. I'll
look at him, dude, and like. It's like a goosebump situation.
Yeah.
When I think about like my family, or I think about my mother, or I think about like the people that I love in life.
Yeah.
It is like woof. It's like a sense. It's like a sense comes out, dude. Of somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like a beacon,
And so what I've discovered is the way you can do this for anybody is you have to be able to see through the programming and go right into their soul. you have to look at their soul. And when you see their soul, you're literally seeing like the one, a part of the one. And that soul is like untouchable. It's like pure. All the mind stuff, the if like somebody does something to you that maybe like kind of whack or like fucked up, but at the core level you're just like, why'd you do that? But at the core level you're like, I love this person though. Fuck that weird thing they did. I still love this person. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so at that core level there's this sort of like pure love that you can feel for anything, because you can see behind every mask of every person, of every plant, animal, thing is the one. Is like that pure love energy that everything's made of.
It's like they have what you have. And so because you share the same thing, you can give them that
love, they can give it back, and it'll be a both situation.
It's like, dude, it's like when I think about like like kind of my life, obviously I'm not even that old, but when I think about like my existence on this planet so far, one thing that I am very surprised at is like I am extremely forgiving. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like more aware of that now. Like, dude, I remember like nothing really bad has been done to me in my life, dude. Like, really, no, my life's fucking incredible, dude. Like, really is. Like, I've never,
you're a good man.
I've never had anybody abuse me or anything in any kind of way.
It's probably because you don't abuse others.
I think, I mean that's definitely like hand in hand. But when I think about the people that have done things to me that really upset me in the time that they did upset me, both male and female, from all different parts. There is no part of me now in this moment at all that feels any kind of resentment. Anything, like anything, and not anything as in like I just don't care about it. But I can find a way to like very easily sympathise with them
and love
when
them.
They did what they did. Be like, well, actually, maybe I would have done that if that was me, or maybe I would have felt like
looking through their perspective.
And that's like what human beings don't do 101, and that's like our biggest problem as a society, dude. Is that
challenge?
It's that nobody goes, okay, what would it be like to be this guy? And like we said, dude, you can't know for sure because we operate within this linear fucking sense system. But when I have done that, every time I do that, it immediately eradicates.
Well, it's
any kind of horrible feeling.
It's simple. It's simple physics. You are the creator. This is your world. Everything in the world is you. Everything is made of your energy. Everything that you're looking at is directly a reflection of your inner beliefs looking right back at you. So if there's something that comes up that's out of alignment, you literally are sort of like the creator forgiving it, and by forgiving it you're sort of erasing all that magnetic, emotional, and electrical like thought, you know what I mean? And it's no longer in your system.
Exactly.
And
because that shit will consume you if it is in your system.
Well, if you don't forgive and you don't clear that program, that sort of because it's really an imprint, a symbolic visual imprint of a moment that happened, and you defined it in a way that was traumatic, and if you don't clear that definition that you defined something negative that happened to you guys, it's going to be part of you. And that's what that's what I'm all about talking about in these conversations and this content that I'm recording right now, I'm going to be putting out, is the idea that we have command over our outer personality. We have command over ourselves, and we can clear out all these limiting ideas about ourselves. We can clear out all these resentments. We can they're like programs, like as if you were an avatar in a very, very complex virtual reality world that seemed extremely realistic. You would have very specific sort of algorithm for your identity of your strengths and weaknesses, and that algorithm has different aspects and sub-aspects and hidden unconscious, subconscious layers to it. And you as the one, as the creator, as the witness of your own algorithm, your own program, your own character, can go into that character and see where all those negative resistance are, and clear that resistance so you can be more hyper-conductive to breathing in that love that we were talking about that you felt from your mother, because that love feels good and it makes you one with the you that's the king or queen or whatever. You know, so
it like makes you one with everything, dude. Like the whole, just the solar system.
Yeah, because think about it this way. How can you be upset at somebody if you see that person as the one, or a part of the one, a part of you, a part of your body as life? Like, I'm here and I'm a cell in your body, and your body is life, and you're a cell in your body.
We're all from that same makeup.
And we're all from that same collective identity. So if we share the same collective identity, and one aspect of that collective identity wakes up to the recognition that it's literally a cell, a part of a collective self, that's even a greater identity, a higher, like a cell in my body wakes up that it's part of a body that's bigger, will want to cooperate with the other cells because those cells are part of the same you. It's like you and me, there's two people talking, but there's only one of us here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
you know?
And
so
that's
with that
cool.
with that recognition, why would you want to destroy an aspect of you out of, you know, maybe you want to destroy something out of a reason, for a positive reason, or you do it out of a reason out of lack, poverty. You know, people do violence because they don't think they can pull in that abundance.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They need to like take it, manipulate, whatever. But we're all connected to the one, and that is an infinite pool of power and love and wisdom. And we just buy into the smallness, but the smallness is just something we're creating with all that power that we have. It's like we're taking all this power and we're creating a program in our consciousness that says that we are lacking in some way.
But that's definitely,
that's like so not true.
It's really crazy that it's like you said, it's like programmed in us to think that way. Like, it's so weird that that's like,
well, it's very artsy.
It is, dude. Yeah, you're right. It is. Maybe that's in us on purpose, though. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a challenge that has to arise in us.
We're looking to get back up into our glory.
Exactly.
That we are already.
No, man, I think that, you know, when you look at how, you know, like we were talking about kind of the genetic makeup, and something that I found very interesting was that I feel like in my life anyway, I'm defined by past failures. So you have the past, you have now, present, then you have the future.
Right.
I feel like so much of my life is being stuck between past failures and I will be the best version of me in the future, not right now. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Why don't you just be the king now?
I'm like stuck.
How long of a journey do you want?
That's what I mean. It's like only I can choose that.
You must be deciding to play the role of not the king for a bit longer because you think it's serving you in some way.
It's giving me exactly, man. And that's the thing, is like, that's what really is crazy to me, dude. Is like, what is very frustrating, actually, is very, very frustrating, is how self-aware I am. Right, so I know what I know what I need to do. To get to like where I want to be, like in every aspect of my life, fucking financially, career-wise, spiritually, everything. I know exactly what I need to do. But there is something in me that is like,
fuck that.
Now's not your time or some shit. And it's like, one day I wake up and I'm like, I could do fucking anything, dude. Like I'm like a god. You know, I can like do anything I want to. Then the next day, I'm just dirt.
And
it's like, It's so confusing. It's like a bipolar, like and it's like how it's. I just feel like it's very hard to try and figure out how to stay on that side of like that oneness, like that waking up and being like, okay, I'm connected today. I can beam. I want to be able to do that day in, day out for every day of my life. That's hard to do. I think it is difficult to do.
I approach it from a practical, scientific point of view.
Right.
Which is basically you're putting yourself back together in the sense that imagine your avatar is sort of like a cup.
Right.
And that cup can hold a certain amount of the one.
Okay.
The one is all the cups within it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, you're holding maybe a few drops of the one.
Yeah.
But you're also the one.
Yeah.
You're both the cup and the one. And so you're helping yourself.
You're the vessel in the sea, dude.
Yeah, you're helping yourself. And so my scientific approach to this is you must rewire the body to be able to hold more light. If you can rewire the physical vehicle to create more light, the temple of the living God that you are, that's what your challenge is. Your challenge is to resurrect the temple to be the container that can hold that amount of energy, a higher amount of energy to run through it. And so your challenge is your cup has beliefs in it that sort of create resistance to that energy. Because if you think about it, I'm dirt, I can't do anything. That's resistance to limitless power, wisdom, and love. You're basically saying no. You're cutting it off, right? It's always trying to flow through you because you're being poured that love. Like your mother's pouring you that love, the one is pouring you that same amount of love. How much of it can you hold? How much of it can you sustain at a conscious level? And then my approach is scientific in that you use your attention, you use your intention to literally look at yourself like a fucking blueprint and rewire and eliminate the programs that create the lack, find what's sort of the foundation to them, erase those motherfuckers, and then start to affirm new reference points of your more expanded power, which you are, and you are, you're connected to it, but you just need to wire that shit into your hardware. The hardware being the body, the human body. So the vehicle, the avatar in a video game like RPG, the character is always leveling up. Even Goku and DBZ, Super Saiyan, right? Yeah. He is able to hold more light. And so our challenge is to build the ship that can carry us to different waters, so to speak. Our challenge is how do we approach our identity as sort of like a artistic medium, like clay. Like our identity is clay, and we have these certain programs. We have to look at our stock. What do we have? What are we believing in? What are the definitions that are defining us? You're literally only as limited as you define yourself to be. That's like physics. If you say if you say you can do something, then you're gonna, and you really know you can, then you can do it. But if you say I can't do it, then you're not gonna be able to do it. But if you say I can't do it, but then you start to say, no, I know that that's a possibility that exists, you're closer to being it. You know what I mean? Until you're literally are it. So anything is possible, and we must take a practical approach since it's like the physical world. We must build ourselves to hold more light.
And you have to, because dude, I just feel like everyone that's ever really achieved something in life, like, on whatever you're interested in, whether it's artistically, whatever, artistically on the stock market, whatever, dude, fucking Warren Buffett to and Christian Bale, dude, you know what I mean? Like, the thing is that something that really seems very in line with all these people is experimenting and failing. You know what I mean? And like just the idea of doing something over and over again. And it's like you say, like, there are things in life that you think, I think in my mind, I don't think that's possible actually, right?
Yeah.
But dude, it's like right now, if I sit here, it's very easy for me to say, okay, it is impossible for me to play a musical instrument right now.
Yeah.
Because I've never ever learned how to play one.
Yeah.
But if I sat down and did it over and over and over again, then I would know.
Yeah.
So that there, can you not apply that to anything in your life?
Yes. And you can even
bypass
the process. You cannot truly bypass the entire process, but you can shorten the process by recognizing that the you that can play the instrument already exists within your consciousness as the one.
Right.
And therefore, from this present moment, you can connect to the you that plays the instrument and sort of telepathically, if you believe you can. If you believe you can telepathically connect to an alternate life that's being lived right now in a different timeline, or even tap into a musical genius and download. You can almost channel that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know how people sort of get in the zone? But you have to really believe you can make those connections and have them work for you.
Yeah.
So it's based on how limited do you believe you are? What are you believing in?
So the question is how do you think that how do we make ourselves believe when we feel like we can't? Do you get what I mean by that?
Yes.
So like you just said, let's say like I want to learn how to play the guitar, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say that.
Well, what's one thing that you actually want to do?
What do I actually want to do?
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I do genuinely want to do that, but like, let's say.
We could use that example.
I'm trying to think of something cooler. You know what I mean?
No, that's
just
cool.
Something that might be. Well, dude, here's the thing: is like my big thing, like my main goal in life, career-wise, and kind of spiritually, is to create art through movies that changes people's minds for good, that inspires people, gives people hope, makes people want to learn more about themselves. Because a lot of like my life is everything that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
I've learned this from watching movies.
Yeah. Not
really necessarily from like reading anything. Yeah. I didn't pick up a book until this year. Genuinely, like an actual book that I wanted to read.
Yeah.
So everything I've learned have been from like very artistic cinema.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to make that. And obviously being in movies or being part of movies is something that people say to you, oh man, you've got a 1 in a million chance.
Yeah.
Right? So you've already been lashed with that huge, like, there's a stigma that it's not possible if you don't come from money or you don't come from connection, right? So how do I harness and use the one to kind of make myself in line with like the universe? What I'm doing is I'm asking the universe, I'm asking the one, I'm asking me.
Yeah.
Like, I need help doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I truly believe, dude, that if you it's like if you go into an audition, if you go into a job, and in your mind, you think, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
You're going to do it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like, you actually are. It's exactly like you said. I truly believe that. I truly believe if you can in line.
Yeah.
But if you say, I'm fucked before you walk in there, then you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't have a choice some days. I feel like some days my brain just says, like, fucking fuck this. And it might only be for a day, dude.
Yeah.
But the point is that when I'm in there, dude, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these people, I'm 100% or nothing.
Yeah.
The good days are I can do anything. You put me in front of anyone now and I'll get a fucking job. I'll do anything. You know what I mean? I can do anything, I can say anything. But then the days that I can't do anything, I'm fucking done, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's literally some Star Wars shit. It's it's like the light and the dark. It really is like that, man. It's like it's like a hate for yourself, and then it becomes you're like, I can't do this, then it becomes self-loathing.
Yeah.
Then it becomes hate, then it becomes a dark side, dude. Then it becomes a fucking Sith.
Yeah.
But then on those other days, you're a Jedi, dude.
Yeah.
You're like, you're like, everything's moving like water, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, how do you like what practices, is it meditation, for example? Because I never meditate. There's another thing, like I never meditate. And I believe that's very, very important in life. But I don't do it not because I can't, dude, because for so long I thought that I couldn't, that like it's become like a very terrifyingly daunting task where I'm like, I don't even know if I want to go down that right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I also know how important it is. So it's like, how do you think that you harness, like, let's say, the force always? Like, is it possible?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it's through meditation.
Right. Just I thought.
It's through meditation.
Yeah.
And meditation is actually one of the most enjoyable things you could ever do. Because
I'm sure.
In meditation, you are literally connecting with the one. You're connecting with love.
Yeah.
And you're literally like connecting with power. You're connecting with wisdom. So for more specifically, some of the scientific ways to sort of rewire yourself to be able to hold more light, on the very most practical level, you want to pay homage to the one. Basically, you want to connect to your greater identity, and sort of send love to your greater identity, because the more what you love, you are.
Yes, and I totally like that. Just feels like a law. You know what I mean? That feels like fact.
If you love this, you are this.
So by like
it's part of your identity.
So when you say like greater identity, do you mean
the one that witnesses the one who is the Jedi and the one who is the Sith?
Right.
The greater identity contains those two dualities.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So basically, when you're in Buddhism, they say, I don't even know if it's Buddhism, honestly, but low key, don't get attached to the excitement or the like negativity, because what you want to do is stay firmly in your witness, like in the oneness.
I see what you're saying.
So it's basically like you're training yourself to be self-aware, because when you're a Jedi, you're very identified with the Jedi, and you're forgetting the you that's witnessing that. When you're the Sith, you're very identified with the Sith, and you're forgetting the you that's witnessing that. So the marriage between the dark and the light is the one that contains both. It's like the yin and the yang. Both sides are within the circle. The one is the circle that contains the dark and the light. You are the circle that contains those two choices. So if you can become self-aware that you're this emptiness, meaning empty of defined identity.
Empty is not derogative.
Yeah, you're like you're not just the Jedi, you're not the Sith, like you're unlocked from those identifications.
Yeah.
You're the one, you're empty. All of those definitions are inside you, and therefore in each moment you get to qualify the one energy that you are made of with a choice of putting your attention on saying, I'm empowered and inspired and uplifted, or I'm downtrodden, destitute, and devastated. You know what I mean? And both of those are very valid options for you to define yourself as within your consciousness. So it's like if you're the avatar is just an extension of you. You as the one witnesses that avatar within yourself, within your consciousness. And if you can stay self-aware, then you can decide what you're going to define yourself as.
Okay, yeah. So.
And if you define yourself bigger, you get more.
Yeah, that is totally correct. So
you're forgetting your true self when you get too identified with too good or too bad.
So let's say like.
You're the one. You're the creator. You're like.
You're
very big.
Let's say then, like, let's say that we're in.
You're playing a big joke on yourself right now.
Let's say that we're in, like, the dark side, dude. Let's say this, like, on one day.
Yeah.
I wake up and everything's, like, looking down, dude.
Yeah.
What questions would you ask yourself, like, on those days?
how do you snap out of it?
Yeah, like what would you ask yourself to kind of make you be like you said, like you just said then, is like, for example, is it like, or statements like, when you're in that dark side, you say to yourself, like, I'm way bigger than this. This is just
a part.
This is just a part of me that is taking over me, temporarily.
Trying to
like consume
my
true path.
Like, your authority.
Yeah.
It's like when you're feeling down, when you're feeling like there's a emotional and mental darkness that sort of almost sabotaging or hijacking your awareness.
Yeah.
Right? It's sort of like a
It is a hijacking.
It's like
you don't fucking invite.
Yeah, you're not like, come on, baby.
Yeah, this thing's like fucking just takes you hostage.
Yeah, it takes you hostage, right?
Yeah.
But it only takes you hostage when you allow it to.
Yeah.
Right? You feel it sort of creeping onto you and taking you hostage slowly. You could wake up and just feel in a funk, right?
Yeah, it's that, and then like something will like, I don't know, man. It's some like,
you'll be aware of something that's sinister.
Yeah, and then it's just like then it's like it opens, dude, and it's like swallows me.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I can't, and it's like, holy shit! Like I can't get out of this.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just get out of this when it lets me go.
Yeah.
Right. When it says you're free.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
And it's like, I don't want to. I don't ever want to have that thing have that power.
Right.
Like, because...
Well, it's an unconscious aspect of you that's having power over you.
Yeah, and it's like I don't want the unconscious... I want my fucking medulla to be...
Yeah.
Doing things.
Yeah.
Being, in like you said, in present, not... Because everything to that like dark side, all of that shit is the unconscious. And really, when we think about what the unconscious is past information. Whether it's even breathing, dude. You know what I mean?
It's not. I wouldn't say the unconscious is dark. It's dark and light. It's basically the things you're not aware of. It's not some negative thing. It's just something you don't know.
Right.
It's unconscious to your conscious awareness.
All you know is that it exists.
You don't know.
Yeah.
It's just all the things you're not aware of right now. You're unconscious to all this shit. It's not bad or good. It's just literally bad and good. All these different things you're not aware of. Like, there's all these good things happening and bad things, and you're not aware of most of it. So, because if you were, you wouldn't be able to have this special experience, because it'd just be extra information that's not necessary to,
Well, I wouldn't even like... Well, I probably wouldn't be here.
Well, let's not get off track here. Back to the how do you get a hold of that, right? Let's not get off track of that. Let's just tie that up. So, tie up that demon. So, your feeling of this energy that comes up within you, right, is something that you have to face, and you have to face it. But the you that has to face it has to be the king. The king can only... That's
the only way.
The king is the only one that has power over that.
Yeah.
The you that's the beggar very, very true, is fucked.
Yeah, no, you're right.
If you're not the king...
Because he doesn't have the wisdom, he doesn't have the know-how, he doesn't have the power.
Yeah, he can't do anything. So that's why, in the alchemical text, King Solomon, Kabbalah, the Jewish lineage, that sacred text of he was able to command demons and angels because he was connected to the One. And so he was the king. He was loving, wise, powerful. He was ruling with authority of the One. And so in Jesus, he was able to cast out demons because he spoke in the name of the One.
Right.
He spoke in the name of the King.
Yeah.
He didn't speak as like a lacking, limited beggar.
Yeah, you're
that
right.
had no power.
Which his avatar was that.
His avatar was hardwired to the One.
Well, no, I meant like as in I meant like what I found interesting was like you said, like, you know, obviously Jesus Christ used the power of the one
Yeah.
in order to defeat demons, right?
Yeah.
But if you went back to like the time of Jesus, the time of 12 disciples, and you looked at them, they're desert scribes. You know what I mean? Like they're poor people in a sense of monetary. They're poor people in a like if you saw them, you would think that they were poor, uneducated people. Like, but what I mean by avatar is like our stupid society. Well, that projects, you know.
Well, they
you don't have nice
definitely-
clothes, then you're a less of a person than this fucking person, and all that shit. But what's very interesting is, like you said, is like this person's power is crazy, yet his avatar is so not impressive.
But
Which-
he was impressive though, because he
But because of that
because
one.
millions of people crowd around his presence and his energy. So, you know, it's
But you know what I'm saying, as in, dude, if you put someone, let's not say the exact Jesus Christ, let's say someone from that time period, you put them next to a king,
right.
covered in gold and covered in jewels and covered in riches.
That's a thing.
You know,
like
well, that's just an image.
Those images pay homage to the one though. The true lineage of the kings, the real kings, like in the Incas and those times,
The Mayan and
the reason these people were able to rise to those levels of powers is because they were taught to connect to the one, and they were basically reflecting the glory with these metals and these jewels. They were sort of reflecting what the one, how incredible the one is, you know what I mean, as best as they can. So it's having a fucking geared out gold cloak and like bedazzled jewels and all that. That doesn't mean that's a bad thing. And it does, and also not having that and commanding the power of the one and being wearing like a no clothes is also not a bad thing. It's really just based on your excitement. How do you want to present yourself?
that is a very good point.
None of the material stuff is, because you can have, like what you're saying is, you could have a king dressed very nice, but they're not connected to the one.
Yeah,
in the sense that they're very.
They could be morally corrupt.
Yeah, morally corrupt,
Yeah.
right? And so that, but the original reason the kings would wear that is because they were playing those symbolic archetypes in the truest sense of the king. They were sort of connected to this limitless love, wisdom, and power, and they were helping the people that weren't to create abundance so that they can then learn about that from a place of being fed and housed and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want to knock kings and queens because they were archetypes in the past that came from a positive.
Oh no, I agree with you.
But at the same time, through the distortion, through the separation anomaly, a lot of shit got twisted. But,
yeah, exactly, dude. Which is exactly what we was talking about earlier on, where I said you like king has become a dirty word.
Yeah, but it's actually the sovereign being.
Yeah, dude, it's like
being.
You're
self-sustainable.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's what it's what a man should want to aspire to be, and it's what a queen is what a woman should aspire to want to be.
Yeah.
It's
what they are.
What they are.
We are that. Yeah. This is the thing is we might. I love this quote, and I thought it was. I think this is gangsta as fuck.
Yeah.
Power is never given; it is seized. You don't.
Yeah.
You don't, and I don't mean, and that could be misinterpreted in a way of like we're trying to take somebody else's power. I don't mean that. What I mean by power is seized is nobody. It means you have to say you're the king.
Right.
You take on, if you don't identify as the king, you will not have the power of the king. Nobody's going to be like, here's the power of the king, unless you're saying you're the king.
Yeah.
It's sort of like how it goes back to that idea. How are you defining yourself?
Yeah.
And why are you tricking yourself into defining yourself as not the king at any point at all? Even if you're wearing beggar clothes and you have no food and no money, why would you say that you're a beggar when you're the king? You know what I'm saying? You're buying into the illusion of the circumstance, and because you're buying into the illusion of because of all these lack, I'm seeing all this lack, so I must not be a king. No, that's bullshit. You're seeing all this lack because you're saying you're a beggar. But if you say, I'm the king, and then you look and you're like, oh shit, I still see lack, and I'm saying I'm the king, well, I must, are you going to be like, no, fuck that. I'm still the king. I'm the king because that's who I said I am, and I'm that powerful. And then if you really hold on to that through the test of seeing lack again, you'll get that change. You'll reflect a different. It's like when you go into an audition and you say like, I am the best. I'm really amazing, and you really believe it and know it. People feel that energy is with you.
It transcends words.
You've taken that energy. Nobody gave it to you. You've defined yourself as that energy.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali said he was the greatest before he was the greatest.
Dude. Yeah.
You just take the power because it's yours. You're the one. You have all the power and wisdom and love that you could ever ask for. You just have to remember that you're already that, and the only way you can remember it is through, just step by step. It's a process. It's like clearing all those beliefs that are contradicting the knowingness that you're the king, so they don't you don't want a part of you saying you're this and another part of you saying you're the opposite of it. You want to get really clear and get all your ducks in a row.
Yeah, that is very true.
Your whole identity is clicking in every level on the same page.
And you know truly who you are.
Yeah, and so it's a matter of definition, and we have infinite amount of ways to define ourselves, and how we choose to define ourselves is going to dictate the life we're gonna have. So low key, it's all an inner game.
Yeah, you're right. I particularly like the way you explained it earlier with like a map. You know what I mean? It's like you have this huge, never-ending map of potential circumstances that may or may not have already been. Have definitively happened.
Yeah.
But in this game here,
that
I'm experiencing right now from this, is, you have to learn how to read that map.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to know that map like it's your hometown.
And navigate it.
And be able to be like, I know where that is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go there and I'm going to get it. And I know where that is and I know I need to be here. And maybe if you're not feeling right in your life, you need to look to that map and say, why am I here when I should be here?
Yeah.
And then try and get, I think that's a very,
and then realize you're there and be that.
Exactly.
But again, it does take a lot of honest self-reflection and...
Yeah. And not lying to yourself, dude. Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I was saying earlier, is that's the magician in me. That's the trickster in me. You know what I mean? Is exactly like I just said, dude. Is not feeling like a king even though you are one.
Yeah.
That's a trickster in me that's spinning things. You know what I mean? It's oh man, you're not a king. You didn't do shit to deserve to be a king.
Yeah.
Why would they choose you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a different person. It's that magician is like a different, a flip of the coin, dude. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is like lying. I feel like I compulsively lie to myself about my own worth.
You're compulsively lying to yourself about your own worth, and you have to call yourself out on the lie.
Yeah.
Because the only way you are going to transcend it is if you...
Is what being like, no, fuck you.
You can't trick me anymore, motherfucker.
Exactly. Yeah. I know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You got to know the tricks's tricks.
Yeah, you already
and be
know.
able to fucking evade them so that you can be...
Not even evade them, but just see through them.
Yeah,
that's even better.
Yeah, that's even better.
You're
just
in
be
your
like
power.
that. Yeah.
It's like,
see through them to the point where they don't even come to you anymore.
It's like Neo in the Matrix, where he's just like waving his hand and fighting that agent without effort.
Yeah.
It's like the tricks are coming at you. You're worthless. You're dirt.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can never achieve that. And you're like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
And
defeat.
You bought into the trick, and then the trickster part of you is laughing his ass off.
Yeah, of course. Dude. He like got what he wanted.
Yeah,
he was like, And isn't that like? Isn't that such like a cheap? Isn't he so easy to please?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Isn't that such a cheap? Because he's like the fucking, he's like the dog with a tire, dude. When you give it to him, he doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's the thing that I find very interesting about like these different types of thing that live within us.
Yeah.
Is that some of them are so easy to like please, but they're also, the worst things that you can give to, like having, the trickster. The trickster is the person that lives in everyone that has a addictive tendency.
Yeah.
Whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, anything, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's the trickster. The trickster. Like, you fucking need this.
Yeah.
You fucking need this.
Yeah.
And you cannot go on without this.
Yeah. He's a salesman. Yeah. He's the best salesman.
He's the best salesman of all time. Yeah.
He's like
he's a devil, dude.
He's like, I will sell you this shit.
Yeah.
Like you fucking need it.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I'll tell you why you need it.
Yeah.
And you'll believe
and
in
it's
it.
And it's like that anxiety, that feeling of like that dark side.
Yeah.
Is you buying it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Believing in the trick.
Yeah, because he's like, dude, like my addiction.
Is you buying
my addiction in life.
Yeah.
Is fucking telling myself I can't do something.
Yeah.
I don't have an addiction of any kind of substance. You know what I mean? I don't have an addiction of like sex or anything like that. But I definitely have that. I have that. That is an addiction, dude.
Yeah.
All he'll say is a few things, and I'll fucking buy it straight away.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, you're right. And it's almost like I take pleasure in buying it.
And why do you take pleasure in buying it?
Because
it's a cheap thrill.
Because it's fucking easy.
Yeah.
And when something's easy and you feel comfortable being like, you're gonna keep buying it.
Yeah.
It's like being on a diet.
Yeah.
Or like, or not diet, but it's like feeding your body with good things that are from the earth, good meals versus going to McDonald's. Well, dude, of course, I fucking love McDonald's and that's a whole different thing. But like, if you ate McDonald's every day because you was addicted to it, then that's the exact same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and you're feeding that trickster.
Yeah.
You're not even feeding yourself.
Yeah.
You're just feeding a part of your brain that is occupied by this thing.
You're feeding this demon part of you that's like hijacked your
that's just taking you over, dude. Yeah.
Conscious will is
fucking
hijacked.
Hacked you.
It's hacked your ass.
Dude. Yeah.
And so the only way, and this is the challenge that everybody faces here. Every single person has this in some way or another. And the only way, and some people have it way worse. Because they have much deeper traumas, addictions, blah, 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 blah. But there's not an infinite amount of addictions. Meaning you as the one, as the king exists within you, right? The king I'll describe as your presence. I define it as the presence.
Yeah.
Meaning it's the sort of the circle that contains this whole experience. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like the presence that's holding, the awareness that's holding this you, me, the talk, everything, all the props, all of it, right? That's the king. The king is everywhere. You as the king is sustaining everything in the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
the king is
yeah.
sustaining the demon, the angel, you, the whole experience.
Yeah.
You have power over all of it, right? Now, you as the beggar or the personality or whatever, right, is the outer self. I call it the projected self-image. You as the king must or they call it the ego. I don't like that term. I call it projected self-image. It's your projection of yourself, a symbol of yourself within yourself. And you as this ego, this projected self-image, think that you're like in charge of everything. But you as the king are the one that's feeding energy into your ego to have it be able to even move, speak, and do anything. It's made of your energy as the king. So the challenge is to whip your ego, whip your projection, your personality, your avatar, your construct, your formulaic identity of who you believe you are into shape. So that's why I say when you feel that darkness coming up, you have to, Jesus said, and Jesus is an ascended master, he said, peace, be still. And he's speaking from the one. Mm-hmm. He's speaking from the presence, which is all of it. So when you say peace, be still, you're talking to every particle here. And you're stilling the moment. And then as the one, you're literally everything is frozen, and you are this witness, and you're seeing this demon trying to trick you, and you're seeing your poor little ego trying to buy those drugs, and you as the king are like, wait a minute, let's sort this out. This is going to be dissolved with my love, because I recognize that this is not serving me, this addiction. It's actually usurping the power of the king. So it's like, what I'm saying is, we must whip our outer self into shape so that it can be the vessel we want to command our energy through. Instead of having unconscious trickster energy override our authority. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically like when you're not the king, the kingdom is a mess. But as soon as you're the king, everything answers to you.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So you just have to remember you're the king, and then say,
otherwise, dude, the fucking throne is empty.
The throne is empty, and the demon is doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, of course it is, because there's no authority.
There's no authority, and you're not the authority. Yeah. Your outer self is being tricked. So it's literally connecting to your authority, which is one with limitless love, wisdom, and power. Imagine it this way. It's like, when you're the king and you say you're going to do something, then your outer personality goes and takes the action.
Yeah.
It's like, you're like, okay, you're feeling hungry, and then you say, okay, I'm going to go get food here. Then your body gets up and it goes and gets it and feed,
Exactly.
It's like, but if you're not the king and there's a invader, trickster trying to get you to lose your energy, because what you're doing is you're wasting your energy. Not wasting, but it's like diluting the power. It's like distracting you from the power. It's like feeding you into sleepiness. You're not powerful. You're weak. Come here. Go. But if you're the king, then you are that power. You don't have to do anything to become it, because you are. You think about it this way. Everything that you give value to in your life expands. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So who is it that's giving the value? The king is giving the value to it. So unless the king is not aware, and then you as the ego is using the power of the king to give value to something that's not for you, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
So
that is very true.
There's this, it's just, we have to understand that these different parts of ourselves, there's like the us, that's the ego, And then the us that's like the higher self, the king or whatever, the queen, that's formless, one with all power, wisdom, and love. And we're the connection between both. And so as we, navigate this experience, we must always be remember that we're connected to this greater self that we are. It's like we've got our back. Like you're controlling yourself through the game, and you want your character to do well. But if your character is like not understanding that it's connected to you, you need to like whip your character into shape so you, as the real you, can start using the character in a way that's like efficient, healthy, blah 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 blah. And it may be challenging, but once you do, that's why.
Yeah, it's like once you get into like almost like a routine of.
Lao Tzu says the greatest mastery is mastery of self.
Oh yeah, and that's like, I feel like that's what everyone should be chasing.
Yeah.
Above.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is, when the mastery of the self comes in, then you get good at things. Then all of the silly things that like human beings want to enjoy in life, like money and all that shit, they come after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't come before that.
Right.
Because like you said, dude, like no one. I mean, the same as no one's going to give you the power of the king, no one's going to give you anything.
Yeah.
So,
but you can still attract a lot of wealth by your focus on the wealth, and still be disconnected from your authority.
Yeah. But
I'm talking a permanent authority beyond space and time. I'm talking about when you're the king, nothing is impossible to you. You know what I mean? And you apply energy in a way that
it has some fucking esoteric purpose.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, dude, I feel like that's definitely something that I want to, like, the idea of the king, I think, like, within.
Yeah.
Is something that I always want to be asking myself.
Yeah.
Like, what would, I say, what would Jesus do? Like, what does a king inside you want to do right now?
Yeah.
Does he want to give in?
Yeah.
To this fucking person selling you
Yeah.
this shit that you don't want, that's going to pollute you?
Yeah.
Or does he want to...
Well, you have to try. You can ask yourself, what would the king do? But you're still asking from a perspective of not the king. You just have to be the king and do as the king does.
Right.
So you're like, what would the king do? And then be the king and do it.
Yeah.
And it's literally almost like, zoop, and you're that.
Yeah.
It's like you're an actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
You play on different roles. Just put on the role of the king.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that.
Yeah, it is that, right? Yeah. It's like
you don't ask what would the king do. You are the king.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
yourself as if this was a play right now.
You're not acting like the king would act, because the best actors in the world become these people.
Yeah.
They don't.
So be the king.
Yeah.
And just decide, something is, I am the king now, meaning my authority is instant, is powerful. It's like when I say something happens, when the king says do this, it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
it's almost like the if you know what I mean, kind of like a weird maybe metaphor, but it's almost like
the king doesn't doubt, is my action going to be
the king
handled
is like
out?
I feel like the king is like the brain, is like, is your central system.
Yeah.
And your body is like a knight.
Yeah.
It's like the hand of the king.
Yeah, it's the hand of the king. It's the hand of the king, yeah.
Is the thing that he says, right, go forth.
Yeah.
And let's do this.
Yeah.
And then your body says...
Exactly.
Your body is so... believes in the king so purely, so absolute that he will follow him into any
battle,
endeavor.
Because the king is so abundant,
It's
so
just
wide.
everything.
Yeah,
it's like the Almighty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. So in that approach, you go to battle with the king's authority and you win because everything bends to the king's will.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's the king.
Because he's the king of the kingdom.
And there's nothing that can contradict his will because there's only one king.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah,
That's the benefit of being only one king.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
You know, there's no one to contradict the king because there's no other king.
They wouldn't dare.
There's no other. All those other kings all come from the one king.
Yeah.
Their ability to have an experience is because of the blessings of that king's kingdom and his kingship. So if the king says we are no longer allowing this, you're no longer allowed to create this sort of negative idea in this kingdom.
Yeah.
You are exiled, or you're simply got reassigned to a different job. Better than exiled, you just got transferred to a different position.
Yeah.
In our kingdom, we used to be making negative ideas, but no longer. Now we're making positive.
Yeah.
Beliefs. You know, it's like the king has to say because the demons that are the trickster energy is there to get you to be the king.
Yeah.
It's there for a positive reason.
Yeah.
Because it's saying...
It's not reminding you.
It's like, you're going to really let me do this shit? Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to really make me get you to go down lower than dirt? Okay. Yeah. And it's like, when are you gonna, it's like when...
Yeah, like, when's the king gonna come out?
Yeah, when's the king gonna come out? Never?
And like, tell me to stop.
Yeah, never. Yeah. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the demon beats your ass, and then the angel comes in and is like, tries to motivate you. You're really the king. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, the demon's like, hey, what's up? You're not the king. You ain't shit. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I am the king.
And that's it, man.
And that's it. And they're like, oh, shit, you're speaking from authority this time. It's like, have you seen the movie The Fountain?
Oh, of course, dude. Yeah,
You know, there's two scenes where he approaches that Aztec king.
Yep.
And the first time he approaches it, he, like, dies or something.
That's right. He gets shot. They kill him.
But the second time he does it, he comes from the perspective of the king. What changed is the second time... he somehow goes back into that same experience, but he's like aware of his greater self, and when he dies, he's like enlightened or something.
Yeah. I feel like it's because when he first gets there and approaches this king, the king feels his energy.
Yeah.
And that the energy is not there.
Yeah.
And that the energy is fear.
Yeah.
And fear, dude, is
trickster.
It's just the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
You know, it is like the absolute manifestation of evil. Really. And so
it's an empty throne.
Yeah, it is. It's like a terrifying thing. And so if you're projecting fear, dude, then you don't deserve to be in the presence of another king, aka another one. AKA, so when he goes back the next time, like you said, he is a king, and the only reason why he's granted the things that he's granted is because kings have aligned. The one has aligned.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like that movie's really cool for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's an extremely cool thing.
Yeah.
That's one of the movies that when I watched it, like, really made me think about a lot of really spiritual things I'd like never thought about before.
Right.
That's just great. It's just an example of something that's like a movie that's like really stuck with me throughout since I've seen it. Which is like awesome. Which is like the kind of shit. That's what I'm saying is like to be able to make that kind of thing. And to be able to make that art, you need to be the king.
Yeah. And so this is the thing, is it's like, how much lack and poverty and death and limitation are you going to withstand until you take upon your true self
and it's
and
like
be the king.
And if you never take a stand, is like, that's so terrifying, isn't it? Like when you think about
I mean, everybody has that potential to become the one with the king or the queen, right? And if the more you buy into the tricks, it's like one time I was with there's a homeless person. I had gotten some like fruits or something from a grocery store, and I was getting food, and there's a homeless person. Anyway, long story short, he was asking for food or money or something, and I happened to at that time have like some fruits that I recently got, and then I was getting food, and I got some change, and I was like feeling like I should give him some money and fruit.
Right.
In this case, I felt like that I wanted to do that. You know, right. I'm not saying I did do that every time or that. No, whatever. I'm just saying in this case. And I came up to him and I gave him like $5 and some fruit, and I was like, you know, it was like a dope little package. And he says to me, he was really excited and thankful, and he was like, man, oh, thank you so much. I ain't shit. And why it was very profound and why I'm even bringing it up now is he was so bought into he was not worth anything that his experience deteriorated to the state of poverty.
Yeah, dude, it's like he's gone. He's
just buying into the poverty over
to
the
point where he's like at the.
It's a fundamental belief he's not worth anything.
It's like he got kicked out the fucking game.
Yeah.
Or like he's at the lowest level of the game.
Yeah. But he's simply all he's doing is he's buying into those tricks.
Yeah.
And
it really is as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. And if he only had the knowledge that to turn everything around, all he had to do was redefine who he said he was. Instead of saying I'm a piece of shit and I'm not worth anything and all these thoughts that are mental cages that are creating more limit, more lack. All he needed, he has the power. He's connected to the one. That's why all human beings are so powerful. And he just has to just redefine himself. And if he could redefine himself, he'll rise to those he'll just receive that love from himself. Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is that's what's so important is that how long are you going to buy into these limiting ideas about yourself until you say enough is enough?
Yeah.
I'm going to define myself as the fucking best, as wealthy, as rich, as abundant, as happy, as peaceful, as loving, as courageous, as the knight that the true king ought to, you know... move through. You know, I'm made of the one energy of the king, and that means that I am made of pure power, pure love, pure wisdom. If I'm made of the king's energy, think of what the king is made of.
As pure light.
Pure light, pure love. And so why would I ever say that this incredible light and love that's making my hand a hand, why would I qualify that as anything less than infinite potential power?
Yeah.
You know, why am I saying that this thing is somehow lacking or limiting? It's literally because you've been tricked into believing and defining yourself as that. Yeah. Simply enough, you've been tricked by some
over and over,
tricking yourself and creating such a strong patterns, such strong mental, emotional loops. That's why I say when you do wake up and recognize who you are, even for a moment, even if in this conversation that happened, that is a seed that then gives you enough breathing space. Eckhart Tolle talks about this beautifully. He's very connected to this kingly presence, talking about the idea that you can choose to witness the thoughts as objects and decide what to empower, what to love. The king gets to decide what to empower in the kingdom.
Yeah,
with the love, with this goes, this doesn't go. And it's not like the king doesn't hate anything in the kingdom. The king just simply only feeds what he wants to grow and does not feed the rest. You know? It's not like he's invalidating it. He's just canceling out his energy from that. Because the king is what gives everything life, and so everything wants the king's attention and energy.
And why would he give something attention and energy if it isn't worth growing?
If it's creating lack and limitation, poverty, unless forgot you're the king and are being tricked constantly. So it's a daily process of self-awareness that we must cultivate and be pretty much very moment to moment as aware as we can to see what's coming up, and be like, okay, and where is this coming from, and what's that tied to, and then you get to the root of it and you pluck that plant out and it's no longer producing that fruit. So until we take responsibility for everything that we are believing in and buying into and take stock of all of it, we're unconsciously victims to unconsciously creative beliefs that we've put in there that we forgot about and just are buying into just because we trusted that that's what it is from somebody that trusted it from somebody else. And it's very unconscious thing. But I think that we have the capacity to whip ourselves into shape. And if we just do it as a practice, little by little, it becomes easier because there's not as much resistance because you're clearing out resistance by resistance by resistance. And then, it's becomes easier. It's like if you play basketball every day of your life for 20 years, it's going to be pretty easy for you to shoot a basketball or a dribble. It's going to be second nature. So it's like the same type of idea is... and there's so much depth to this science of like focusing and rewiring. We could talk all day about this, but
you could probably talk for a lifetime about it.
Yes, lifetime, definitely.
Yeah, lifetimes.
That's what I'm. I'm definitely. There's much more to explore and expand. Even the things that we can talk about, there's even more unknown things to discover.
Of course,
beyond that.
Yeah.
So,
and isn't that exciting as well?
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah. So I'm excited to keep talking.
Like who knows where you'll be in fucking who knows like the kind of shit you'll be talking about in 5 years.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
Insane.
There's a lot of potential, especially as we purify ourselves and access more of our power. How much more of that power will change the experience, and how much that experience being changed will open different doors that we can't really imagine now, but we will be able to imagine when we change some things, and we'll be in a different perspective and imagine even better things. So it's, you, me, we all have the power to hold more power, hold more love and life, and wisdom.
Dude,
and it's up to us.
And you got to try and
how much
can we get in? Yeah.
How much can we hold?
Yeah, dude.
What are what are the things that are resistant to holding more? What's taking our energy away from holding more? It's
dude. I like that a lot. I think that's like, I think that is like something that you can really put into practice. What I mean? That's something you can actually use.
Yes.
This isn't just like, well, you need to work harder. What I mean?
Yeah.
Which is like such a fucking cop out. What I mean? It's such a cliche.
Yeah.
But like if you actually think about, it's like you said, if you're actually conscious in that time of when something's upsetting you, and you actually say to yourself, okay, like, how have I gotten this way? But like I feel, if you know what I mean, I feel like a lot of people when they feel something, if they feel excitement,
it's not even how have I gotten this way. It's just you decide you want to transform.
Exactly.
It.
Yeah. And it's like what's crazy is that
it's like the king deals with it.
Is that when I'm excited or when I'm down, it's like a dream. You never know how you got there. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you dream and you're somewhere,
Yeah.
you don't remember getting in your car and driving to this place. And
Yeah,
having
you're
this dream.
just there. Yeah.
You're just there, and that's what those feelings feel like.
Yeah.
So, what you need to do is just like know, be able to say to yourself, "Holy shit, dude! Like, wait a fucking second.
Yeah.
I don't remember getting here.
Yeah.
So who brought me here?
Yeah.
And then being able to be like, oh, I'm not gonna fucking be here.
Yeah.
Like I don't like. Yeah. What's the point of me being here?
Yeah.
This is a waste of precious life and light. So yeah, dude, I totally agree, and I'm gonna use that.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, you're gonna light in that.
Exactly, man, and I'm gonna
be the light in that.
And I feel very, very positively that is like going to help me hugely.
Yes.
Which is like very cool. It's like a new horizon.
It's a new horizon. It's like there's so much vast frontier in front of us to explore and like command our attention into new curiosities.
Exactly.
There's I like the idea of giving these things labels because they create sort of reference points so that you can get quicker into those states of empowerment. It's like the king. Boom, I'm now the king. I have authority over everything. I can freeze time. Peace be still.
Yeah.
I'm the king. Yeah. Okay, what is it that I wish to do right now? How do I want to feel? That kind of thing. And literally commanding your love. And again, the king has so many different tools, and we can talk maybe next time about it. But the king has magic powers.
Yeah, of course.
So
he's also a magician.
He's also a magician.
But
the king
he's like
is low key. Actually, this as something reminds me of. The king is also the priest and the philosopher.
Yeah, makes sense because
the healer.
Yeah.
The king, the authority, and the philosopher. It's like the power, wisdom, love aspect.
Yeah.
The king is like the power. Maybe the priest is like the love, and
it's like the
philosopher is like the wisdom.
The love of the magician and the king.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they're all in one, and it's just there's so much. Like our imagination as the king can use the one energy to use the love, the wisdom, or the power to accomplish whatever is needed. So it's like, if there's, sometimes you need to use power and authority of immense power, and then that's the primary forefront energy, and then love and wisdom are backing it up. Sometimes you need to solve a challenge, you want to discover more information about something, you're curious about a topic, the wisdom's at the forefront, and the power and the love is backing it up. Sometimes you want to fill somebody up with pure health, pure love, pure bliss. The love's at the front and the power and the wisdom is backing it up. It's sort of like...
Yeah. It is, dude. It is.
Yeah, so... But, this was a good talk.
Hell yeah,
very
man.
helpful.
Yeah.
Talking out these...
Yeah, it's like,
trickster, the king,
man, it's
all
very,
these
very like
things exist within us.
Yeah, man, like absolutely, and it's very, it's very. There's something about talking about it, rather than just thinking about it and cliche bottling it up, holding it within.
Yeah,
is that if you reach out. Or you use, you reach out to someone who is experiencing the light. You know what I mean? Who's experiencing, pure energy. I feel like, then
you can help.
It's so very infectious, dude. You know what I mean?
The conversation, making what you're thinking about. When you're thinking about it, it's not a physical thing, because it's sort of, it's not something you can hold in your hand.
Oh yeah, sure.
But when you're talking about it or when you're writing it, it makes it more, it anchors it more into real life, so to speak.
Yeah, it becomes
more tangible.
Part of your narrative, man.
Yeah.
You know, part of your narrative towards whatever you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, to kings.
Hell yeah, dude. Two kings, dude. Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And let's just close that off with a gratitude to the one.
Yeah, dude. I totally agree. Gratitude to the one.
Gratitude, appreciation, thankfulness to the one energy that's sustaining us.
Yeah, dude.
Giving us life.
To life, dude.
Yeah. To blessings to the one that is blessing all of life right now.
Yeah, man.
And peace and many blessings.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Peace and many blessings, dude. Hell yeah, man. Woo!
Thanks for listening to the Indigo Minute podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and check out indigominute.com for much more content on ascension, identity, and the alchemy of self-transformation. So thanks again for listening. May you be blessed.